Yo, I'm Adrian from Rabona TV, and today we're talking Italy, Spain, Germany, Portugal, and a little bit of England as well. But first, a few people have been hitting me up saying that they aren't getting my videos in their subscribers box. So if you want, hit that little alarm bell down there and you will get notifications. So it will tell you every time I upload. But first, let's congratulate Celtic for becoming the champions of Scotland again. And by again, I mean for the 6th time in a row. But it was a first title for good old Brendan Rodgers, who showed
wonderful character
to turn it around at a new club after the disappointing time at Liverpool. Great character, Brendan. And look at the character of the players and how they celebrated. Also notable was that this was the second invincible season for a certain Kolo Touré. Well, at least it will be if they can round out the season unbeaten, which, come on, seems very likely. But let's jump to Germany and look at Mario Gomez now, as he scored a hat-trick in 7 minutes over the weekend. But perhaps what's more impressive is his form of 7 goals in 5 matches lately. But what's a little more eerie is the fact that Wolfsburg caretaker manager Andries Jonker has been in charge of 9 Bundesliga matches, and in those matches, Gomez has scored every single time. In fact, he scored 15 goals in the 9 matches that Jonker has been in charge of. Maybe he should just hire him up as a personal coach. Also in Germany, Hoffenheim and Dortmund have only 1 point separating them in the Bundesliga table. Okay, cool, Adrian, who really cares? A lot of teams have only 1 point separating them in the table. But the thing is, Dortmund and Hoffenheim have the exact same opponents in the final stretch of the season, and they actually play each other. Hoffenheim is in 3rd, Dortmund's in 4th, and if you want to learn a little bit more about Hoffenheim and their manager Julian Nagelsmann, guess what? I've got a video for that, so I will link that just below the video for you to check out. Get educated, show it to your friends, educate your friends. And speaking of the final stretch and only being separated by 1 point in the table, Benfica and Porto played this weekend in what was supposed to be the title decider for the league. But of course, it was a draw, a 1-1 draw, which for someone like me, a Benfica fan, hey, doesn't really make a difference, although a win would have been very nice, as a 4-point lead would have been, like I said, very nice. So given that I'm a Benfica fan, I thought, why not get my friend Tiago, who lives in Portugal, is a Portuguese man who went to the match, is an analyst, will give a totally unbiased review of the match and not spend the whole time trashing Maxi Pereira for being a total piece of shit. We made you, man. Why are you celebrating goals? We made you. I'm sorry. To give you a very in-depth, full story of the match, here's Tiago.
Probably for the first time in the Rui Vitória, Benfica started their match in the front foot against a big team. They started by overloading center positions with their wingers and overloading the right side, where Alex Telles doesn't deal with pressure of big matches very well, as we saw against Juventus in the Champions League, and Semedo was having a fantastic start to the match. Benfica got going through Jonas, a clear penalty from Felipe, and from that moment on they sat back a little bit. Porto finally started building up from the back instead of hoofing it forward through Casillas, which was very beneficial to them, and they gave a lot more ball to Oliver, who controlled the midfield. That said, they missed a lot in the final third. They didn't get balls into the final third, they didn't make slicing passes into the final third, they missed a ton of chance creation, up until the goal scored, which was early in the second half, the 1-1. That said, from that moment on, it was all Benfica up until the final seconds of the match. A ton of chances created by Benfica. Pizzi was playing in a little bit of a deeper position than usual, because he was playing with Samais instead of Feza, so he has to cover a little bit more. But he had a fantastic match still, just not as flashy. Benfica created a ton of chances, only for Casillas to have a really good match in goal. Again, Porto's goalkeeper always comes up big for them in big matches like these. He did it last year, he did it against Sporting this season, and he keeps them alive in the title race. Still a long way to go.
Did you learn something? Of course you did. And by the way, guys, you should follow Tiago because his Twitter is sick and he will leave your mind blown at least once a day with a crazy stat. So go follow him, and Tiago, no pressure. You only gotta blow a few people's minds once a day, we'll call it. While we're on the Iberian Peninsula, we may as well jump over to España and see what Barcelona did, because this weekend they did some pretty cool stuff, and we like cool stuff on this show. In their 4-1 win over Granada, apparently Ivan Rakitic said to Andrés Pereira, "Down you go to the Segunda, you son of a bitch." And that's it. Joking, of course, but in this win, Suarez and Neymar padded their stats to reinforce that they are truly exceptional players. Suarez scored a sick chip that ensured he scored the most goals in La Liga since his debut. And that's not including penalties, Ronaldo. Sorry, homie. And the final letter in MSN also scored, and that was his 100th goal for Barcelona. And speaking of, the team at the head of the table, Real Madrid, managed a 2-1 win. And in doing so, tied the record for the most individual scores in league play with 19 different players contributing to the goals this season. So shout out to Real Madrid for sharing the wealth and for not relying too much on Ronaldo for getting all the goals for them.
Wonderful character.
And in Italy, Napoli had a chance to take a big bite out of Juventus' lead at the top of the table, but they only managed to nibble with a 1-1 draw. But given that Roma beat Empoli 2-0, their lead is cut to 6 points. But most notably for Napoli fans, with Marek Hamšík scoring his 111th goal, he looks poised to pass Diego Maradona in Napoli all-time scoring with 115. There's nothing worse coming out of England than David Moyes telling a female reporter that she could, quote, get a slap. But regardless, here are a few other things coming out of England at this time. First, Manchester United's terrible home form. Well, of course, it's not terrible by other club standards, but by their own, it's pretty bad. Their record stands at 6 wins, 8 draws, and 1 loss. Only 1 loss sounds alright, but that 40% win record is the worst that United has ever had since the start of the Premier League era. So how will that home record look by the end of the season? Well, it remains to be seen, but they still have to play Everton, Chelsea, Swansea, and Crystal Palace, which all 4 of those are going to be pretty tricky. And Arsenal, who have 2 wins in 6 matches in all competitions. Those 2 wins were against non-league opposition, but what's even more funny, to me at least, is what Xhaka said, and I'm going to have to read this one to you because I haven't had it memorized. Quote, "The results against Bayern were very bad, but we are not that far off them. And in my view, they are on the same level as Arsenal." Really, dude? But that'll do it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Adrian. Hit that like button if you can. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. Peace!